Every day, we humans generate waste. As the world moves ahead, the amount of municipal solid waste is surpassing the rate of urbanization. Today, it is estimated that about 3 billion urban residents generate 1.2 kilograms of waste per person per day, making it 1.3 billion tons per year. That's a lot of waste. The government is spending substantial amounts just to sustain the treatment and management of municipal solid waste. But what if there's a sustainable solution? SP Multitech Intelligent Home Sindirian Berhad. SP Multitech Mechanical and Electrical Sindirian Berhad. SP Multitech Renewable Energy Sindirian Berhad. Right from the start, we've always emphasized on services that are environmentally friendly and help solve environmental challenges. To that end, SP Multitech leverages on advanced German technologies for solutions that enrich our lives. The Zero Waste Park is an alternative to conventional landfills, where incoming municipal solid waste is sorted and fully utilized. A Zero Waste Park facility can be built on an existing landfill, thus extending the landfill's lifespan and solving odor emission issues. It also takes up less space than a landfill and is highly modular in design, which creates flexibility in terms of facility size. The Zero Waste Park incorporates a biogas power generation plant that produces green electricity, making it a viable solution for today's eco-conscious society. In promoting the Zero Waste Park approach to waste management, SP Multitech Renewable Energy provides solutions that fully utilize municipal solid waste and convert waste into energy and fertilizer. At the receiving sorting hall, municipal solid waste is sorted into recyclable items, whilst the organic portion goes to the bioreactors. In the bioreactors, the organic waste undergoes a dry fermentation process for 20 days, during which anaerobic bacteria break down the waste to produce biogas. Leachate from the bioreactor is channeled to the biological incubation tank, the national grid, whereas the heat is sent to the bioreactors via hot water pipes and heat exchangers. The Zero Waste Park has a number of advantages. It helps to reduce greenhouse gases, mitigate climate change, as well as to produce energy and biofertilizer, thus helping us take care of Mother Nature for today's generation and those yet to come. Two examples of our biogas facilities: one small biogas plant at a dairy farm near Semenya, and a 900 kilowatt capacity biogas plant at a large chicken layer farm in Negri Sambila. To date, SP Multitech Group of Companies has received various recognitions and certifications as testament to its excellence. Contact us today to see how we can help you turn waste into energy.
Welcome to Land Lab. It is the Wastewise Trust's recycling facility. This is the place where waste is recycled, sorted and reprocessed for reuse. I'd like you to walk through with me to see how waste is actually reused and recycled. Come on. This is how the waste comes in. It comes from corporates, it comes from residents, it comes from IT companies. Let's try to see what happens to the waste now. This is how the material comes to the Land Lab, and our staff at the Wastewise Trust try to sort it into different categories of recyclables. As you can see, the WWT staff here has sorted the waste into different categories. Here I have tissue papers. This is PET bottles. This is milk covers. This is high quality plastic. This is Tetra Packs. This is low quality paper. There is white paper, there is low quality plastic, there is metal, there are aluminium cans and aluminium foil. And there is also cardboard, boxes, newspapers, magazines and glass bottles. Each of them have a recycling value. Every day, the Land Lab receives around 5,000 kgs of waste. Many a times, the waste is in this form. This is all mixed and it is very difficult for them to recycle it. Also, it is very inhuman for them to pull out the plastic, paper and other recyclables from this mixed amount of waste. This means that the entire quantity of waste bag has to go as rejects. This recycled material is stored and bagged and sent to registered traders for recycling purposes every week. This is the area where the recycled material is stored. Land Lab also serves as an educational center. It is here where we show what you can do with waste. These are granules made out of recyclable plastic. For example, this is a milk cover plastic. These are the kind of granules that are made from milk covers. These are the kind of granules that you get from low density plastic covers. These are all the materials found in waste. And this is what you can do with recycling of waste. At the Land Lab, various other activities also happen. We have a nursery unit, we have planting materials, we have a composting structure, we have urban agriculture. Now let's take a look at what the composting section is all about. This is what happens to the wet waste that comes into Land Lab. This is 1 day old organic material. It is first sprayed with the EM solution that is made to control smell and to also hasten the composting process. It is then covered with partially composted material. Today's wet waste also goes through the same process. After 45 days, the wet waste gets converted into this. BioWise enriched compost by WasteWise Trust. We also have 3 other kinds of composting. There is vermicomposting, there is microbial composting and there is windrow composting. We do value additions to composting, such as adding neem cakes, biofertilizers to enhance the compost. Every month, the Land Lab is able to produce 10 to 15 tons of compost. Recycling not only makes environment sense and economic sense, it also makes a very big social impact. These are the waste pickers that WasteWise Trust works with. We are committed to ensure that we bring dignity to the work of waste management. We hope that you will join us in this endeavor. Thank you.
This is a song about good garbage, good garbage, good garbage. This is a song about good garbage, banana, coconut.
Okay, now we'll take the drywall up the stairs. Now, you could carry this directly to the curb, but a more efficient way is to have a sled or some type of object that will help you remove it. Okay, I've got a converted ice fishing sled here. I'll use that. So I fill this up. Now I can put several buckets full of drywall in the sled, and then take that to the curb.
Final point I'd like to make is during the period in the beginning of June, we offered the cards for sale for a 6-month period. During that time, the purchasers were provided with an information sheet explaining the history of the program, current operation challenges, and the information explaining that the Commission would be seeking requests for proposals in order to determine a possible new path of service beginning 2013. Also, an email address was provided, and citizens were encouraged to send that information to the county commissioners for your review. With that brief history, Kevin, would you please come forward?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, back on August 24th, Lowndes County advertised for a solid waste RFP. It was kind of a complex RFP in and of itself. There were many options that were present, and also asked for additional information as well to go along with that. As you can see on the chart that you have up there, we did get a wonderful response from the solid waste contracting community. We got at least 5 different bids, one from Waste Pro, one from All Green, one from Advanced, Wiregrass, and Veolia. Each one of those particular contractors selected through the proposals themselves and placed a proposal amount based on their vision and their capability as contractors. What I'll do here today is go through the proposals themselves and what they entail. When we're looking at Proposal A was a non-exclusive residential solid waste curbside collection system, which would be collected once a week, bulky item collection done on call every other week, yard waste collection and disposal every other week. When it came to this, Lowndes County would continue managing the recycling centers. And as you can tell, we had at least 2 contractors bid on that particular proposal there. Proposal B was similar in nature, except instead of a non-exclusive, this was an exclusive contract for solid waste curbside collection once a week. Same parameters for bulky items and yard waste. It's going to also set up for Lowndes County to continue managing recycling centers. In the recycling centers of these 2, A and B, we're talking about just for the collection and recycling only, all of the services, of course, with the curbside there. As you can see, we got a greater response from that in particular, and at least 4 different contractors provided prices based on the parameters that we had in the RFP. Proposal C was also an exclusive curbside collection once a week, bulky items on call every other week, our trash collection every other week, and this actually placed the recycling center management instead of in the county's hands, placed it in the contractor's hands. So basically their bid was based on curbside collection of those particular items as well as handling recycling centers for recycling management only. You can see the ones who bid on those in particular. Proposal D took that one step forward. This was also an exclusive curbside collection once a week, bulky items, yard waste, but this took the recycling from the centers to the curbside. In this particular one, you can see the response that we received from the solid waste community, and had interest in that one. Proposal E is an exclusive collection center management for the collection and disposal of solid waste, recycling, bulky items, and yard trash. It's basically we'll be taking over the management of our collection centers based on the parameters we set for the scope of work. You can see there is bids below that. Proposal F was different. Proposal F, we just opened the door and based on the information that we had provided in the addendums and the appendix of the RFP, we asked for the contract solid waste
sustainable is that price per year, $833 per month?
It's my understanding that it would be for at least a one-year period of time until an evaluation of the system would be completed, but there was no guarantee for anything beyond that at that particular point.
Would you like to give an estimation of what you think that potentially could go up to cover the cost based on your knowledge of the industry?
All I can state is what it would actually cost us through the time period. Realize that private contractors work a little differently than county government does. But even looking at some of our information, knowing that the amount of money we're receiving is grossly under what it's costing us to implement the program, I would anticipate somewhere at least $80 higher than what we currently charge.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say really quickly regarding this process. You know, we've been doing it at least since our retreat, so it's been out there in the public. The public's had a long time to let us know what they think, particularly when we had to renew our cards. And for me, I'm one of those residents that has a card. I pay $100 a year for the card, but I also have curbside. I have a large family, and I end up paying about $30 a month for solid waste. And I'll let the other commissioners speak for themselves, but for me, option D is the best option because it would represent a significant savings, and it's curbside pickup for everything, bulky solid waste, residential solid waste, bulky items, recyclables, yard waste. I don't think it could get any easier than to have someone come to the end of your driveway and pick it up for $13 a month. So for my part, and I'd be prepared to make a motion to accept option D and award to the low bidder. Let the other commissioners weigh in.
Is that a motion?
I move that we accept proposal D and award it to the low bidder. Yes.
Have a second. Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
When a story is told, it exhales. When a story is listened to, it inhales. When a story is passed on, its blood flows. This is my story. Visiting Hopi, I noticed a lot of trash. Plastics, aluminum, glass, and more. Items that come from mass-produced facilities to meet the demand of 21st century living. How did we get to this point? As Hopi Tewa Sinam, we are the caretakers of our homeland. How did we become so wasteful, so disrespectful? In the days of our ancestors, we can imagine what life was like from stories told. Modern conveniences did not exist. No supermarkets, malls, etc. Life was different and perhaps more difficult. Reciprocity, respect, and balance were a way of life. The earth provided what our ancestors needed, and they knew not to overconsume. Once an item was no longer used, it was given back to the earth. Outside influences made their presence in our homeland, and soon our waste stream changed. We relied less on the earth and moved towards a materialistic society. These new items gave way to increased pollution of our homelands, our water, and even our air. This is even evident in our katina ceremonies. My father remembers, as a child, the katinas would give him gifts of boiled egg and piti. Today, our katina ceremonies are inundated with materialistic goodies which end up in the trash. Is this what Masala intended for us? Is this disrespect to our homelands? I think yes. As Hopi Tewa Sinam, we can make changes in our community and our way of life. As the caretakers of our land and our promise to Masala, we can improve the conditions of our villages. We have the tools to reassess our waste stream. What changes can you make to help curb our waste stream? Reduce, reuse, recycle, and respect. As you listen to my story, understand that this is our problem and our solution. Asquali, thank you.
The way she leads and the way she contributes to the society is tremendous. When she gives her talks, she's animated and she's totally hands-on person. She just wouldn't hesitate to put her hand in a pile of garbage to show people what's really happening in that pile. Being a doctor, she's influenced many couples to have babies. And also as a gynecologist, she helps anybody in distress. She's always on call in the society. All her neighbors can call her at any time of the day if they need any medical emergency. She's always available. So there are many ways that she's highly friendly person and comes on very easily to make a difference to people's lives. This is something that we very few people have the ability to do. And also in colleges, she goes and gives talks to girls about safety, about their hygiene, and medical advice to young girls in colleges. And she's well liked because of her the way she interacts with them. We can just be as free and ask her any question and she's ready to answer. And there are things that she has done that has made a big difference in people's lives. And this is something that we all cherish having her around. So not just the Bangalore, Malleshwaram in Bangalore, but I think the entire city and even cities around. She has gone even at national level. She has gone to Chennai. She's talked in municipalika, which is a huge platform. So there are many places where she has taken her work, and that has projected what Bangalore is really heading towards, a zero waste or a city that is actually taking care of its waste. So she's been a big factor in the whole process of what Bangalore city is projecting right now.
Welcome to Land Lab. It is the Wastewise Trust's recycling facility. This is the place where waste is recycled, sorted and reprocessed for reuse. I'd like you to walk through with me to see how waste is actually reused and recycled. Come on. This is how the waste comes in. It comes from corporates, it comes from residents, it comes from IT companies. Let's try to see what happens to the waste now. This is how the material comes to the Land Lab, and our staff at the Wastewise Trust try to sort it into different categories of recyclables. As you can see, the WWT staff here has sorted the waste into different categories. Here I have tissue papers. This is PET bottles. This is milk covers. This is high quality plastic. This is Tetra Packs. This is low quality paper. There is white paper. There is low quality plastic. There is metal. There are aluminium cans and aluminium foil. And there is also cardboard boxes, newspapers, magazines and glass bottles. Each of them have a recycling value. Every day, the Land Lab receives around 5,000 kgs of waste. Many a times, the waste is in this form. This is all mixed and it is very difficult for them to recycle it. Also, it is very inhuman for them to pull out the plastic, paper and other recyclables from this mixed amount of waste. This means that the entire quantity of waste bag has to go as rejects. Thus, recycled material is stored and bagged and sent to registered traders for recycling purposes every week. This is the area where the recycled material is stored. Land Lab also serves as an educational center. It is here where we show what you can do with waste. These are granules made out of recyclable plastic. For example, this is a milk cover plastic. These are the kind of granules that are made from milk covers. These are the kind of granules that you get from low density plastic covers. These are all the materials found in waste. And this is what you can do with recycling of waste. At the Land Lab, various other activities also happen. We have a nursery unit, we have planting materials, we have a composting structure, we have urban agriculture. Now let's take a look at what the composting section is all about. This is what happens to the wet waste that comes into Land Lab. This is 1 day old organic material. It is first sprayed with the EM solution that is made to control smell and to also hasten the composting process. It is then covered with partially composted material. Today's wet waste also goes through the same process. After 45 days, the wet waste gets converted into this. BioWise enriched compost by WasteWise Trust. We also have 3 other kinds of composting. There is vermicomposting, there is microbial composting and there is windrow composting. We do value additions to composting such as adding neem cakes, biofertilizers to enhance the compost. Every month, the Land Lab is able to produce 10 to 15 tons of compost. Recycling not only makes environment sense and economic sense, it also makes a very big social impact. These are the waste pickers that WasteWise Trust works with. We are committed to ensure that we bring dignity to the work of waste management. We hope that you will join us in this endeavor. Thank you.
This is a song about good garbage, good garbage, good garbage. This is a song about good garbage, banana, coconut.
So, could you give an introduction to who you are and what you do?
I'm an environmental engineer. I've been working in the field probably 30, almost 40 years now. In working countries around the world, specialize in solid waste. I've worked quite a bit in sewage, and what we see here is a lot of solid waste being dumped into a drainage ditch that's critical to get the surface runoff away from these neighborhoods, away from these wards, and down to the sea. And what we see is garbage that's been dumped over the months and years that's blocked the flow. And if we end up with some serious rain again, the issue that we can end up with is it overflowing. The good news is that in October, a group of people, and I presume there are local people, came and they pulled a lot of this waste out, and you see it piled on the side. But still, it's going to impede flow, and one of the major issues then, as I mentioned earlier, is flooding. If you look down at the water itself, the color of the water, the smell of the water is really typical of raw sewage. So there are health issues here, issues of broader sanitation issues. So.
waste management is destroying the family farm. I'm Cleo. I'm 88 and a half years old, and I've always lived within 2 miles of waste management dump. I'm Helen, and this is my home, and I view the waste management dump every day. My grandparents came in 1906, and ours is one of about 12 that I can name farms that qualify for century farms, which means the 4th, 5th, and 6th generations are now operating the farms and putting food on our table. They've been very dedicated, and they're very upset to see their prime farmland being dumped and filled with garbage. Yeah, it was real pretty when we came down here in 1984. I'd lived here in my childhood years, but when we got married, we lived closer to Portland. And when we came back, it was really pretty. And the first thing we knew, we had a garbage dump down here. And then it just grew and grew, and it didn't amount to anything, but it was on the South Yamhill River. But we didn't see it. Now it's a mountain. It really has had a very negative effect on the people that live in the area. It stinks, it's noisy, it's an eyesore. On prime farmland that used to grow row crops, I used to go out there and pick broccoli and corn. They grew tomatoes and squash, and now it's all covered with garbage, and they're taking up hundreds of acres, and they want to go further. Where you used to look out the front window and see Mount Hood, now you see the garbage, and the big semis up on top unloading the garbage. It's demoralizing, and to see the land that is producing orchards, filberts, grapes, and food for the people, it's demoralizing. There's hardly anybody around here that'll drink the water. Most of them are hauling it. My kids won't touch it. Not good. My name is Molly Phillips, and I'm 85 years old. Our family has lived on the farm for 150 years. We're one of Oregon's pioneer families. And now it's being destroyed by the waste management dump. The farm used to be so beautiful and at times even elegant, but now with the dump next door, it's a loss for everyone.
My name is Larry Fries. This is my hazelnut orchard. I live here in McMinnville. I'm confronted with the fact that years ago when our landfill was put in, we were promised that it was never going to go above ground level. Then it was changed. It would go to 170 feet above ground level. And I'm really not sure how high it is now, but it's really obtrusive, and it needs to be leveled. I would expect somebody like Waste Management to be more responsible in trying to control vermin and handle the problems. And we're just getting overrun with rats, mice, birds, and for hazelnuts. Birds are the worst thing that you can have in here because they transmit eastern filbert blight. And just 3 or 4 days ago in my neighbor's field, I don't know what bird it was. It was black, but I'm sure that there was at least 1,000, 1,500 of them. The ground was black. And a lot of times you see them sitting on the wires on the roadside, and it's just a constant line. That's something you didn't used to see. Waste management is a big attraction. It's only a matter of time, and something's going to go wrong. We're going to get hit with some nasty disease or pandemic event, and then the value of not only your land, but the crops that you raise and everything else, it's going to affect farmers, it's going to affect everybody. I hate to think what the wine industry is going to be faced with. They could really stand to lose a lot.
You know, it's hard. It used to be so pretty to look out the window, and now we have that. No, I'm getting older, and there's not much reason to live in this area anymore, because the waste management has bought property right up to our land, and it's just not much of an asset, and it's not much of a legacy to leave to the children.
I couldn't leave this to my kids. Who would want to come out here and live here as this dump gets bigger and bigger and bigger? Everything will just get worse.
I think Yamhill County has hosted the garbage of the Northwest long enough. It should be moved on to someplace else.
Everything seems so hopeless, and I find that I can't even talk about it, and I feel bad about the generations following mine, and when it's obvious that everybody will have to be moved out, whether it's our farm or other neighbor's farm, that the whole area is at a loss.